The convent walls were high, imposing. They held the world at bay, promised solace. Sister Agnes sought that solace. Her heart, young and tender, sought refuge within the church's embrace. She dedicated her life to God, found comfort in prayer and routine. The convent became her sanctuary, its silence a balm to her soul. Days flowed into each other, marked by prayer and service. Sister Agnes tended the gardens, her hands gentle with the earth. She sang in the choir, her voice pure and clear. She believed in the sanctity of her vows, trusted in the righteousness of the church. Hers was a life of quiet devotion, a life lived in the shadow of God. But even within the hallowed halls, shadows lurked. Sister Agnes felt it, a creeping unease that clung to the edges of her prayers, a darkness that whispered in the stillness of the night. She pushed these feelings down deep inside, doubted her own instincts. God would protect her, the church was her sanctuary. Or so she thought. Confession was a sacred ritual, a cleansing of the soul, but for Sister Agnes it became a chamber of horrors. Father Michael, once a figure of comfort and guidance, transformed into a predator. He used the confessional's darkness to hide his sin. His touch, once comforting, turned violating. Sister Agnes felt trapped, her voice choked by fear. His whispers were poison in her ears, her body a temple desecrated. The weight of his actions crushed her spirit. The silence of the confessional became her prison. Shame consumed her. How could she, a bride of Christ, be so defiled? Her faith, once a beacon, flickered in the face of such darkness. The sanctuary had become her tormentor. The silence a suffocating shroud. Sister Agnes was alone, pregnant with a sin she could not confess. Weeks turned into months. Sister Agnes's body betrayed her. Her once flat stomach began to swell. Fear gnawed at her. The other nuns whispered, their eyes filled with concern. She brushed off their inquiries, attributed her changing form to illness. IBS, she claimed, her voice trembling. Guilt and terror became her constant companions. She prayed for a miracle, for forgiveness, for a way out of the abyss that threatened to swallow her whole. The life growing inside her was a constant reminder of the violation she endured. The convent, once her sanctuary, now felt like a cage. The walls seemed to close in on her, suffocating her with their silence. Her faith, once unwavering, wavered under the weight of her secret. She was trapped, bound by her vows and the terrible truth she carried. The pain came in waves. Sister Agnes, alone in her small room, gave birth. A tiny life, ripped from the darkness of her secret. She held the child, a boy, his eyes closed in a sleep that would be eternal. Her tears fell freely, a mixture of grief and relief. Panic clawed at her. What to do? Where to turn? The convent offered no solace, no forgiveness for this sin. Driven by desperation, she wrapped the child in a blanket, snuck out into the night. The cold earth welcomed her burden. She buried the child beneath the shade of an old oak tree, marked the grave with a small wooden cross, a silent plea for forgiveness. Her secret, buried beneath the ground, festered like a wound. But as she covered the tiny grave, her shovel struck something hard. Bone. A chill ran down her spine. She brushed away the dirt, uncovering another small skeleton, and another, and another. The truth hit her like a physical blow. Hers was not the only secret buried in this sacred ground. Terror gripped Sister Agnes. The garden, once a place of peace, transformed into a graveyard. Tiny skeletons, silent witnesses to unspeakable horrors. How many babies lay buried here? How many mothers had suffered in silence? Her own pain paled in comparison. This wasn't just her tragedy, it was a systemic evil hidden within the very foundation of the convent. Her faith, already shaken, shattered completely. She dug through the night, driven by a need to know the truth. Each tiny skeleton unearthed fueled her rage. The convent, a place of supposed holiness, reeked of death and deceit. The weight of the buried secrets threatened to crush her. But amidst the horror, a new resolve blossomed. She would not let these children be forgotten. Justice, however delayed, would be served. The rising sun painted the sky with hues of pink and orange, a cruel mockery of the horrors buried beneath the earth. Sister Agnes, exhausted and emotionally drained, knew she couldn't remain silent. These children deserved a voice. Their mothers deserved justice. The decision to break her silence was agonizing. It meant betraying her vows, defying the church that had been her life. But the faces of the buried children haunted her. Their silent cries echoed in her soul. She found a payphone in a nearby diner, her hand trembling as she dialed the number. Her voice, when she spoke, was a mere whisper, but her words carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths. "There are babies buried in the convent garden," she confessed, her voice breaking. So many babies. The words, once spoken, could not be taken back. She had shattered the silence, cracked open the convent's carefully constructed facade, and in doing so, she had unleashed a storm that would shake the very foundations of faith. News traveled fast. The story, whispered at first, quickly became a roar. Reporters descended upon the quiet town, their cameras hungry for images of the unfolding scandal. The convent, once a bastion of peace, became a site of chaos and investigation. Sister Agnes watched from a distance, her heart heavy. The world knew her story now, but at what cost? Some nuns, their faces etched with horror, wept openly. Others, their eyes hard and unforgiving, blamed her for the scandal. The authorities moved quickly. The garden, once a place of serenity, was cordoned off, transformed into a crime scene. Forensic teams, their faces grim, began the painstaking process of exhuming the bodies. Each tiny coffin that emerged from the earth was a testament to the darkness that had festered within the convent walls. The silence had been broken. The truth, however horrific, was coming to light. The investigation unearthed a horrifying truth. Over 100 babies, their tiny bodies discarded like unwanted secrets. The convent, a place meant to be a sanctuary, had become a breeding ground for abuse and cover-ups. Father Michael, the predator who had defiled Sister Agnes, was arrested, along with several other priests and nuns complicit in the horrors. The scandal rocked the church to its core, exposing the hypocrisy and corruption that had festered beneath the surface for far too long. Sister Agnes watched the proceedings, her heart a mixture of anger and sorrow. Justice, though long overdue, was being served, but the scars of the past ran deep, a constant reminder of the innocence lost and the trust betrayed. Her faith, once unwavering, was irrevocably shattered. Could she ever forgive the church for its sins? Could she ever forgive herself for her silence? The convent stood empty now, a hollow shell of its former self. The silence, once a source of comfort, now echoed with the silent screams of the lost children. Sister Agnes, no longer bound by her vows, walked away from the only life she had ever known. She carried the weight of their memory with her, a burden she knew she would bear for the rest of her days. The world outside the convent walls was vast and unfamiliar, but it offered a chance for healing, for redemption. Her faith may have been shattered, but her spirit remained unbroken. The horrors she had endured, the secrets she had unearthed, had forged within her a steely resolve. She would dedicate her life to ensuring that the voices of the silenced were never forgotten. The fight for justice was far from over. But as she walked away from the shadows of the past, Sister Agnes carried with her a glimmer of hope. The hope that one day, the truth would set them all free.